The storm begins. On Saturday, February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury, a coordinated air campaign against Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure. Within hours, Tehran struck back, not only at Israel but at every nation across the Gulf that housed American forces. The United Arab Emirates, home to over 200 nationalities, found itself in the crosshairs. What followed were 4 extraordinary days that tested the country's steel and revealed its heart. Sunday, March 1st, the first full day of Iranian retaliation. By sunrise, the UAE Ministry of Defense confirmed that its air defense forces had intercepted 137 ballistic missiles and 209 drones launched toward the country. The multi-layered shield American-made THAAD and Patriot batteries, Israel's Barak 8, South Korea's Chang'e 2, Russia's Pantsir, and the Emirati-built Sky Knight activated outstanding synchronization. 3 walls of protection, long-range, mid-range, and short-range, each catching what the other missed. The interception rate was 95%, by any military standard extraordinary. By comparison, that rivals the famed Israeli Iron Dome. But no shield is perfect. Debris from the interceptions rained down on populated areas in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and other Emirates. Fragments struck near Zayed International Airport near the Fairmont on Palm Jumeirah and damaged the iconic Burj Al Arab. A fire broke out at Jebel Ali Port. An Amazon Web Services data center was hit and went dark. 3 people lost their lives: a Pakistani national, a Nepali worker, and a Bangladeshi resident. 68 others were injured: Emiratis, Egyptians, Filipinos, Indians, Iranians, Sri Lankans, and other nationalities. None by direct strikes. Every single casualty came from falling interception debris. The shield held, but war still left its mark. When Iran's missiles began to fly, the UAE closed its airspace. Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest hub for international passengers, went silent. Terminal 3 was struck by a drone in the early hours of March 1st. 4 airport staff were injured. Tens of thousands of passengers were evacuated. Flights were grounded across the Gulf: Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Kuwait, Bahrain, all dark. Hundreds of thousands of tourists, migrant workers, business travelers, and pilgrims found themselves stranded with no way home. Families with children slept on terminal floors. Queues stretched through entire concourses. Phone lines to airlines jammed. The U.S. State Department told Americans in 14 Middle Eastern countries to depart immediately, but there were no planes to board. Then the UAE did something that caught the world's attention. The government announced it would bear all accommodation and meal costs for every stranded traveler in the country. The General Civil Aviation Authority activated emergency plans. Hotels were instructed not to evict guests whose reservations had expired. In Abu Dhabi, the Department of Culture and Tourism sent directives to every property: extend their stays on us. In Dubai, the Department of Economy and Tourism followed suit. Temporary shelters near airport hubs were set up with meals, beverages, and medical support. School buses were dispatched to ferry families from the airport to hotels. An Indian traveler stranded at Abu Dhabi airport told reporters, "They gave us free food and hotel vouchers. The staff were very supportive. It is the most supportive country I have been in." On Reddit, on social media, across the world, people praised the UAE for showing humanity in the middle of a war. By day 3, Tuesday, the Iranian barrages intensified. On March 3rd alone, 11 more ballistic missiles and 123 additional drones were launched at the UAE. The armed forces intercepted them all except one missile that landed within the country's territory without causing casualties. Cumulatively, the numbers were staggering. 186 ballistic missiles tracked, 172 destroyed. 812 drones detected, 755 intercepted, all 8 cruise missiles eliminated. The Ministry of Defense displayed wreckage of intercepted Iranian missiles at a government briefing in Abu Dhabi, physical proof of the shield's precision. Meanwhile, the UAE closed its embassy in Tehran and withdrew all diplomatic staff. The message was clear: restraint, yes, but sovereignty is non-negotiable. Wednesday, March 4th, Day 4. Iran launched 3 more ballistic missiles and 129 drones at the UAE. The air defense forces intercepted them. The cumulative toll now exceeded 1,000 inbound threats neutralized, but something else was happening. Limited flights began to resume. Emirates, Etihad, and Air Arabia operated exceptional departure flights during brief windows of safety. Governments around the world, Australia, the UK, India, began repatriation operations. 24,000 Australians alone waited for flights from Dubai. The UAE announced partial airport operations, prioritizing departures for stranded civilians. The country was not just defending itself, it was functioning, organizing, caring. The Ministry of Defense stated it possessed strategic reserves of air defense systems capable of countering aerial threats for a prolonged period. In their words, the safety of citizens, residents, and visitors remains a top priority that will not be compromised. In 4 days, the United Arab Emirates faced more than 1,000 missiles and drones, more than what Iran fired at Israel in the same period. Its military intercepted over 95% of them, using the most advanced and diverse air defense network in the Arab world. 3 innocent lives were lost, 68 were injured, but no Iranian projectile successfully struck its intended target on UAE soil. And while the armed forces held the sky, the nation held its people. Tens of thousands of stranded travelers from every corner of the world were sheltered, fed, and cared for at the government's expense without question, without condition. This was not just a display of military power, it was a display of character. The UAE showed the world that strength is not only measured in interceptors and fighter jets, but in how you treat the stranger at your door when the world is on fire. The Shield and the Soul, based on verified reporting from the UAE Ministry of Defense, Gulf News, Khaleej Times, Reuters, Associated Press, CNN, Al Jazeera, and the Emirates news agency WAM. All figures cited are from official UAE government statements dated March 1st to 4th, 2026. 5 days that for some of us felt like 15 or maybe 50. All our prayers that this is now behind us.